But it's time now for this week's shocking stat of the week. Well, the Republicans got their health care changes through Congress this week, as you probably heard. Predictably, the misinformation from opponents and the gloating from proponents began. I saw how many in the commentariat, including in Canada, decided to chime in. But, come on, just between us girls. Not one commentator in the States and Canada has read the revised act. But, of course, that never stopped anyone. But my shocking stat this week deals with the reality of U.S. medicine that you did not hear about when it comes to policies. Policies that are so heavily influenced by vested interests that it's little wonder why their system's such a mess. Go back to when Obamacare was coming to life. Center for Public Integrity analysis of Senate lobbying disclosure forms showed that more than, are you listening? 1,750 companies and organizations hired 4,525 lobbyists. That was 8 for each member of Congress. They wanted to influence Obamacare. They spent more than $1.2 billion lobbying the government. That was on the heels, by the way, of an American Journal of Medicine report that showed that in the year 2000, healthcare lobbying expenditures totaled $237 million, but they had 1,192 organizations involved. 2016 was what? The umpteenth year in a row when healthcare lobbying was the #1 lobby group in terms of dollars and people. They spend $500 million a year now as a starting point. And that does not include, those numbers do not include campaign contributions and other kinds of payoffs. In the first 3 months of this year, the 5 largest publicly traded insurance companies, that's all, just the 5 publicly traded insurance companies spent a combined $6.2 million in just the first 3 months of the year. The top 8 pharmaceutical companies doubled the money they spent lobbying. So here's the question. Do you really think they were lobbying on behalf of the public's interest? Because I'll tell you, the naivety surrounding this issue, commentating on the American experience, is breathtaking. U.S. healthcare is a $4 trillion business. There are massive vested interests involved in making money regardless of how poorly or how well that system serves the majority of Americans. They will fight any change tooth and nail. They're making money right now. So with that said, when President Obama introduced his national health plan, or the Republican introduced their changes this year, do you really think it was a document forged with the public's best interests in mind? Or was it the interest of hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, suppliers, doctors, and indirectly congressmen who get campaign dollars? The answer should be obvious to everyone who's figured out there is no tooth fairy. So yes, you can comment on the politics of it, but make no mistake, this bill is the result of special vested interests. Doesn't matter whether it was the introduction of Obamacare or now the changes to Obamacare.